The sound comes first. You hear them long before you see them. It's not a natural sound. It's not the snap of a frozen twig or the sigh of wind through pine. It's a machine sound. The hard sh-sh-sh of nylon rubbing on nylon. The sharp, rhythmic clack, clack, clack of metal poles hitting the ice crust. I was hidden, still as a stone, checking a snare line on the high ridge. The air was sharp, maybe 5 degrees, and so clear you could see the teeth of the next mountain range 50 miles away. The silence was perfect. Then they broke it. 4 of them, bright colors, red, yellow, blue, like spilled paint on a clean canvas. They were moving fast, strung out in a line, heads down. They were attacking the mountain. Their breath came in great white plumes like steam engines. I watched them. The one in front, the leader, he was sweating. I could see it from 50 yards. His hat was dark with it. He'd stop, pull out a plastic bottle, drink, and then look at a little glowing screen in his hand. He'd shout back to the others, 4 miles to the summit. We're making good time. Time. That was their god. They were moving through 3 feet of powder, and they were trying to beat a clock. They were generating a tremendous amount of heat, and they were wasting every last bit of it. They were pumping it out into the air, and they were soaking their inner layers with poison, with sweat. I watched them pass. They never saw me. They weren't looking. They were looking, but not seeing. They didn't see the way the wind was starting to comb the snow off the ridgetop. They didn't see that the perfect clear blue sky had a hard, milky edge to the north. They didn't smell the iron in the air. They were strong, fit, full of vitamins and confidence. And they were walking fools. They were carrying the seeds of their own destruction, and they thought it was just a good workout. They forgot the secrets. Or maybe their grandfathers just never knew them, and so had nothing to pass down. They come here, to this place, and they bring their world with them. They think that because they have a map on a screen, the mountain is mapped. They think because they have clothes tested in a laboratory, the cold cannot touch them. They think the winter is a problem to be solved, an opponent to be beaten. They set goals. They make plans. They race against the sun. I have lived here long enough to know you do not race the sun. You do not beat the winter. You do not conquer the mountain. You do just one thing. You endure. They come here with their hearts full of city noise. Their minds are fast. They are always thinking about the next thing, the summit, the photo, the drive home. The mountain's mind is slow. The winter's mind is still. It has all the time in the world, and it will use that time to find every crack in your armor. And the biggest crack, the one they all bring with them, is that hurry. The old ones knew. They knew that survival isn't a race. It's a fast. It's a vigil. It's a long, slow, quiet dance with death. And the one who moves too fast, the one who tries to lead, he's the first one to fall. The secrets they lost aren't complicated. They aren't magic. They're just hard. They demand the one thing modern men have thrown away, patience. The first secret is that the winter is a banker, a cruel one. He deals in one currency and one currency only, heat, which is calories, which is life. You arrive with a certain amount in your account, the food in your pack, the fat on your body. Every single thing you do costs you. Moving fast, that costs double. Sweating, that's like setting your wallet on fire. You're not just spending your heat. You're creating the very thing, the moisture, that will steal the rest of it. The modern man, he's a spendthrift. He thinks he can generate more heat by moving faster. He's like a fool in a blizzard, burning his house down to stay warm for 10 minutes. He runs his furnace at full blast, sweating and panting, and feels strong, but he's emptying his bank account. The secret is to be miserly. You turn the wick of your lantern down. You move at a pace, a slow, steady glide that you can maintain all day without breaking a sweat. You keep your furnace burning low and clean. You don't spend a single calorie that you don't have to. You make your heat last. The second secret is that they have eyes, but they do not see. The modern man looks at his screen. It tells him where he is. It tells him the idea of the world. He doesn't see the world itself. He doesn't see the way the snow clings to the north side of the trees, telling him direction. He doesn't see the tiny glazed crust on the snow that tells him the temperature dropped hard last night and the snowpack is unstable. He doesn't listen. He doesn't hear the absence of sound. The moment when the birds go silent just before the storm hits. He doesn't feel the air pressure change in his sinuses. His senses are dull. He has replaced them with electronics, and the day will come when the batteries die, and he will be left blind and deaf in a place that demands you see and hear everything. These are the law of efficiency and the law of observation, and I had to learn them by breaking both. I had to learn them by watching a man die. His name was Elias. He was my partner, my first years up here. I was young, full of the same piss and vinegar I see in these new men. Elias was stronger, 10 years older, and he had an axe swing that could split a frozen oak log in one go. He was loud. He laughed loud. He snored loud, and he walked loud. He believed in strength. He believed that any problem could be solved with enough force. We were arrogant. We'd survived 2 winters and thought we owned the place. We were running a long trap line 20 miles north of the cabin. It was late in the season, the hunger moon. The cold was deep, but the day was bright. We were making good time. Our time. We ignored the signs. I see that now. We ignored the hard, metallic sky in the morning. We ignored the silence. The squirrels were deep in their nests. The jays weren't screaming. The world was holding its breath. We just pushed on. Elias telling a loud story about a bar fight in St. Louis. It didn't roll in. It struck. It came from the north like a white sheet being snapped. 1 minute we were in sun. The next, the world was gone. It wasn't snow. It was a whiteout, a storm of tiny, sharp ice needles. The wind didn't howl, it screamed. It was a solid thing, a wall you had to lean against. In 5 minutes, our tracks were gone. The world was gone. There was no up, no down, no north, no south, just the white and the sound. The sound was so loud it felt like pressure on your skin. "Cabin!" Elias yelled, though he was only 5 feet away. I barely heard him. "This way! We push through!" Panic is a hot, sharp thing. It burns in your throat. It tells you to run. We ran. We put our heads down and charged into the white. We were fighting the wind, wading through drifts that were now waist deep. We were breathing hard. I could feel the hot sting of sweat running down my ribs, even as the ice formed a solid mask on my face. My eyelashes froze together. We fought like that for an hour, maybe 2. We were blind. We were just 2 small, hot animals fighting a god. And the god was winning. I need to stop, Elias bellowed. He fell to his knees. "We can't," I screamed, pulling at his arm. "We stop! We die!" "Just a minute," he gasped. He was on his hands and knees, panting. I'm hot, so hot. Just need a minute. Catch my breath." He was done. He didn't know it, but he was done. That heat was the last lie. His core was shutting down. His body was spending its last coins in a final, desperate flood of warm blood to his skin. I pulled him. I screamed at him. His eyes were wide and milky. He didn't see me. He was already somewhere else. He sat down. He just sat. And he smiled, a sleepy, stupid smile. The panic in me turned to pure, cold terror, a terror that felt like ice water in my veins. I wanted to run. I wanted to leave him. I wanted to live. And then a thought, a cold, clear thought that cut through the panic. Stop. It wasn't my voice. It was the mountains. Stop fighting. Stop moving. Stop spending. Elias was violating the first law. He was spending his life trying to fight what he couldn't beat. And I knew I could stay here and die with him, or I could obey the law. I let go of his arm. I turned my back to the wind. I saw a place where the snow had drifted deep against a fallen log. It was just a mound. I didn't fight. I dug. I used my snowshoes, my hands, my knife. I dug like a badger, not with panic, but with a cold, steady purpose. I wasn't building a shelter. I was digging a hole, a grave to keep me alive. It took me 30 minutes. My hands were wood. I was sobbing, not from grief, but from the raw cold. I dug it deep enough. I crawled in. It was a trench, no bigger than a coffin. I pulled my pack in after me and used it to block the hole. And the world disappeared. The scream of the wind vanished. It was muffled, distant. All I could hear was my own heart hammering in my ears like a drum. And the darkness, it was absolute. I lay there. The cold began to creep in, not the wind chill, but a deep, seeping stone cold. My sweat-soaked clothes started to freeze. I shivered so hard I thought my teeth would crack. This was the second secret, the mental one, the law of patience. My body screamed at me to move, to get out, to run, to fight, and I had to just lie there. I had to tell that panic to shut up. I had to win the war inside my own mind. I did not sleep. You sleep, you die. I just lay there, in the dark, in the cold. I felt the snow drifting over my entrance, sealing me in. I was buried alive. I just waited. It was the hardest thing I have ever done. When the light finally came, it was just a faint blue glow through the snow. I had to tunnel my way out. The storm was gone. The world was new. Blue and white, clean and silent as a church. The sun was bright. It was beautiful. And it was deadly. I found Elias. He was just 50 yards away. He was a drift of snow, just a shape. I had to chip the ice from his face. His eyes were open. He was still smiling. He had died of force. I had lived by patience. I was broken. I thought I knew things, but I knew nothing. That spring, I went north. I found the Cree people, the ones who really lived here. I just watched. I watched an old woman, she who waits, set snares. It took her an hour to walk 100 yards. She didn't walk on the snow. She seemed to float over it. Her feet made no sound. I watched a hunter, quiet foot, track a moose for 3 days. He never hurried. He just flowed. He moved at a pace that seemed impossibly slow, but he never, ever stopped. Quietfoot finally spoke to me, after weeks of me just sitting by his fire. "You white men," he said, not looking at me, just scraping a hide. You walk with war in your hearts. You hit the forest. You make noise. You sweat. You fight. He pointed to a wolf track at the edge of the camp. The wolf is the master. Does he run? No, not unless he is killing. He glides. He walks at a pace he can hold until the sun dies. He does not sweat. He does not waste. His fur keeps him warm, but his mind keeps him alive. You have a hot mind. He was right. I had learned from Elias's death, but I learned how to live from them. They taught me the wolf's pace. They taught me how to read the snow, how to smell the wind, how to see the silence. They taught me that the greatest tool of survival is to be still. I think about that every time I see men like the ones I saw today, the ones with the bright coats and the loud voices. They are Elias all over again, just with better boots. Their technology isn't their salvation, it's their curse. It gives them an arrogance. It lets them get deeper into trouble before the rules finally catch them. Their GPS tells them where to go, but not why they shouldn't. Their synthetic clothes wick sweat, so they think it's okay to sweat. Their satellite phones give them a false hope, a belief that they can be rescued from their own stupidity. They have lost the secrets because they have lost the humility. The secrets aren't about gear, they're about your mind. Can you be alone in the dark with the cold and not break? Can you move slow enough to hear the world? Can you be so patient that you outlast the storm itself? Can you accept that you are small and the winter is big? They've lost the ability to be still. Their minds are full of noise, just like their footsteps. And when the batteries die, when the storm hits, and all that noise is snatched away, there's nothing left inside them, just the panic. And the cold loves panic. It feeds on it. Your gear can keep the wind out. Your fire can keep the dark out. But no gear on earth can keep the panic out. The secrets of the old ones were never written down. They were carved into the mind, and the secret they all lost is that in the deep winter, the only true shelter is a quiet mind.